Sandra Martin in the LHS Orchestra, Mrs. Jeannie Olson in the LHS Band, and Mrs. Julie Stoffel in the LHS Choir. Will you please now stand for the singing of our national anthem by the LHS Choir.
Hello! How's everybody doing today? My name is Nathaniel Lee Trickle, principal of LHS.
And if you did not understand that, ask your graduate. I am Ronald Rasmussen, the very proud principal of Lincoln High School. It is with great respect and honor that I represent the staff, faculty, and administration of the School District of Wisconsin Rapids this afternoon. I'd like to welcome all family and friends and guests to the commencement of the class of 2019 and the 116th graduating class from Wisconsin Rapids. We are delighted to have you participate and share in this celebration. The theme for this year's yearbook was Starting Fresh. Your high school career has been one of the most unique in the 40-year history of what people in town still refer to as New Lincoln. You arrived as sophomores experiencing a new daily schedule, the trimester, which was different than your schedule you had as a freshman at East Junior High. When you arrived back for your junior year, construction equipment dotted the campus. You experienced new lighting, a new food service area, an auxiliary gym, and a beautiful natatorium. And then this year, to really change it, starting fresh, you welcome freshmen to Lincoln High School for the first time in its history. As a class, you welcome these freshmen, 40 of you, serving as Link Crew mentors to make Lincoln a better place. I would not be able in such a short time to review all the accomplishments of your class. What I do know, they're excellent club and student council leaders, Others in this class with exquisite literary, dramatic, and musical grace and eloquence. Some who have set the pace in your class with phenomenal intellects, and others who have contributed greatly with your athletic accomplishments on the field, court, ice, mat, pitch, etc. And remarkably, a number of you have demonstrated in numerous areas. I urge you as you walk out the doors of LHS to follow the characteristics of the Rapids pride. Be respectful, be responsible, and be committed to yourself, your community, and your nation. Many of you will be heading off to college, others will be entering the workforce, and some of you will be maintaining our strong democracy in service to our country. I encourage you to learn and grow from your friends, your new communities you are about to experience, and your new experiences. But I also want you to remember fondly your Wisconsin Rapids. We want you to come back home, be the best and the brightest right here, and be a Red Raider forever. Lastly, there is one individual who was to be on stage today but is unable to attend. I'd like to recognize Mr. Rod Hankey, LHS Associate Principal, who has served Lincoln on the banks of the mighty Wisconsin River for the past 28 years. He has been a mentor for numerous administrators, teachers, and support staff over these years. But most importantly, he has been a strong advocate for the children and families in WRPS, and I want to wish Rod the best in his retirement. So it's with great pride that I offer you, the class of 2019, congratulations, and a big thank you to your families for their support and engagement over the last 13 years. Celebrate today and all their accomplishments that have led to today, and remember always to be proud of the red and white of Rapids. So at this time, it is my honor to welcome your class president, Josh Carlin, to the stage to offer his welcome from the class of 2019.
Good afternoon, everyone. To all the faculty, teachers, guests, parents, and friends here today, I'm Joshua Carlin, class president for the graduating class of 2019. It is my honor and great pleasure to welcome you all to today's ceremony. Before I begin, though, I would ask that if I have any voice cracks during today's ceremony, please feel free to laugh at them. 4,654 days. Let me read that number again. 4,654 days. 4,654 days ago, we started our journey to get where we are today. Our parents took those cheesy first day of school photos. We got in our buses and in our parents' cars and waved them goodbye for the first time as we walked into our first day of kindergarten. Our first day of school was 4,654 days ago. Our last day was 4 days ago. Today, we are all gathered together, perhaps for the last time. Most of us are ready to move on to the next part of our lives, whether that take place anywhere in Wisconsin Rapids, anywhere in the state, anywhere in the country, or anywhere in the world. Regardless of where we are going, today is the beginning of our futures. However, as we move on to the next stage of our lives, let me propose a challenge to you all. If you're trying to change the world, don't ask how to change it, but why the change is needed. Oftentimes, we forget why people are so motivated to make a difference in the world, when, in reality, the only real way to change the world is to change why we care. But are we, the class of 2019, crazy enough to change the world? Without a doubt. Out of all the classes that have passed these doors, we're probably among the most unique. We defied the odds and took home the river jug our sophomore year. We persevered through the constant construction of our junior year. And this year, we had a whole new grade come to our school. And if that wasn't crazy enough, all of us here still managed to graduate with 7 snow days this year. Now that's really crazy. To wrap up this introduction and set the theme for the rest of the ceremony, listen and take in this quote by Steve Jobs. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently, They're not fond of the rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them. Because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the class of 2019. We made it.
At this time, it's my honor to welcome 18 of our 21 highest honor graduates to the stage to deliver today's senior address. I know these students have spent a great deal of time planning today's worth of advice over the past month and a half. They selected a theme, brainstormed their part, and coordinated responsibilities. One of our favorite entertainment choices is to go to the theater or sit at home watching Netflix or Hulu. Through these movies, dramas, crime shows, or sit-downs, we have our favorite quotes that inspire us for our future. So without further ado, to the good times and the times to come.
Class of 2019, this is the day we've been waiting for. Though at times it seemed this day would never come, we made it. After this, who knows where life will take us. Some of us will go on to college, others will join the military, and some will go straight into the workforce. We truly don't know how our lives will play out. But at least we can say we all share this in common. We are the one and only Lincoln High School class of 2019. Seated in the field house right now, potentially our last time together, we have earned our time to celebrate. Though we have come to an end of one chapter, we will all begin a new one, our own one, in a new place with brand new people. So as Robin Williams once said in the Dead Poets Society, the powerful play goes on, and you may contribute a verse. The powerful play of life will continue, so what will your verse be? How will you contribute to the diverse world around you? And what will you do with this life, your life? To the class of 2019, write your verse and live it, because your verse is important.
First off, congratulations. We're nearly out the door. Just the moment we have all been not so patiently awaiting for some time now. But now that we're all sitting here for what could be the very last time, the 4 years we spent in this building seem to have flown by. We spent these last 4 years counting down the days and dreaming of this moment. And now that we've made it here, I am wondering, as I'm sure many of you are too, where the time went. And while I do not have the answer, I do have a question. Well, Adam Sandler has a question that I think we can all relate to from the movie 50 First Dates. He asks, what's going to happen down the line? Someday she's going to wake up and look in the mirror and notice her face is aged 10 years overnight. And while this quote is referring to a woman without a short-term memory, I think we can all relate. Some days may feel long, but I promise you that years go by fast, so open your eyes and live a little. Stop wishing your life away, because before you know it, it'll have been 10 years, and I hope you all make your years after high school something worth remembering.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. A quote from Ferris Bueller, the model student. Or maybe not, but this guy short-lived his fictional life. The truth is, when you're enjoying life, time flies fast. It is important to focus on the moment and live every day like it's your last. Everything from one hockey game to an entire high school experience flies by fast, really fast. In the blink of an eye, it's the last shift of your hockey career, and there you are, sobbing in the locker room. It's a bittersweet reality that our time in high school has come to a seemingly abrupt end. However, we will now begin the next and possibly best chapter of our lives. Thanks to our great teachers, administrators, coaches, friends, and parents, high school has prepared us to go out into the real world and give adulting our best shot. We can achieve whatever goals we set our minds to, and we can do whatever floats our boat, weather depending. Class of 2019, wherever you end up, soak in the unique experiences that you come across, because yes, life moves pretty fast.
Throughout my high school career, like many of us, I spent way too many hours of my life watching a show called The Office. Now what fascinated me about this show was that it was extraordinarily ordinary. For some reason, I was so deeply entertained by a made-up paper company from small-town Pennsylvania. The character Pam encapsulates this fascination in the very last line of the show. There's a lot of beauty in ordinary things. Isn't that kind of the point? As we sit here, anxiously waiting to have our diplomas in hand and leave this gym as Lincoln High School alumni, we are all pondering what comes next. College, careers, families, and building a name for ourselves. But as we move on from high school with big dreams and goals in mind, I encourage you all to look for the beauty in the ordinary things. Whether it's a smile shared with a friend or a deep breath of fresh morning air, never forget to step back and find the beauty in the little things. Because we spend so much time looking to tomorrow, to our hefty goals and monumental dreams. We forget that really, life is just a mashup of small moments blended together to form a beautiful journey. Class of 2019, soak up every second of it, because the ordinary things are truly what make life extraordinary.
Try not. Do or do not, there is no try. In this quote from Empire Strikes Back, Yoda says this to Luke Skywalker just before he attempts to raise his X-Wing from underwater with his mind. After failing, Luke gives up. Yoda lifts the ship effortlessly shortly after. Amazed, Luke walks back bewildered and exclaims, "I can't believe it." In response, Yoda says, "That is why you fail." Luke didn't believe that he could lift the ship with his mind, so therefore he could not. However, Yoda believed he could, and because he believed, Luke's X-Wing flew out the swamp and landed on dry land. What we can learn from Yoda is that you cannot do anything great unless you believe in it. You cannot earn a degree unless you believe in it. You cannot secure your dream career unless you believe in it. You cannot blow up the Death Star unless you believe in it. My friends and classmates, the world outside these doors are filled with opportunity. You cannot take advantage of those opportunities unless you believe you can. Believe me, you can. Class of 2019, good luck to all of you as you open up a new chapter in your life.
Brennan, that is the voice of an angel. Brennan, I can't even make eye contact with you right now. Your voice is like a combination of Fergie and Jesus. In this quote from Step Brothers, Brennan is humiliated by his brother. He hides his singing abilities in the past. Soon after becoming best friends with his stepbrother, he is encouraged to give his abilities another shot. To Dale's surprise, his voice is unlike anything he has ever heard, even to the likes of Fergie and Jesus. Now, how does this quote relate to my high school experience? Brennan took a risk that he never thought he would dare attempt again. Just like in this movie, I took risks that looking back at a few years before, I would have never dreamed of doing. Whether these decisions be big or small, they're always worth a shot. Never did I think that I would be traveling almost 2,000 miles away for college in less than 2 months, or that I would have fallen in love with a sport I knew little about. Risk-taking leads to both happiness and reward. Every great idea or invention started with a little bit of risk. The idea of failure shouldn't be your biggest worry. It should be what opportunities you missed out on because you didn't take your shot. The concept of risk-taking is often overlooked, and for me it was my biggest takeaway from my time here at LHS. So class of 2019, the future is yours to decide, and the time is now for you to start taking your next risk. Thank you.
As the late Herb Brooks said in the movie Miracle on Ice, great moments are born from great opportunity. Over these past 12 years, all of us can reflect upon great moments, whether it was acing a test, winning a game, causing mischief with your friends, or sharing a moment with a special someone. Cherish these moments because you won't get another opportunity like high school. You'll soon realize how lucky you were that you had a teacher there to support you when you were struggling, parents that were there to support you when you were arguing, or the simple opportunity to see your friends every day, which many of us take for granted. However, don't be sad that it's over, but be happy that it happened. Now, as our paths diverge and we begin to work or go to college, continue to take advantage of every opportunity given to you. You never know what kind of moment might come from it.
Your future is whatever you make it, so make it a good one. In the third Back to the Future film, Doc Brown returns to remind Marty McFly that he has the power to make his future as bright as he wants. Through Marty's travels, we learn how one little decision can cause a ripple effect. However, unlike Marty, we do not need a time machine to ensure that our future is great. All we need to do is learn from every mistake that we make and promise ourselves that we'll do whatever it takes to make our future better. We have all thought about what our future has in store for us, but the truth is, nobody truly knows. So class of 2019, now it's my turn to remind you that your future is unwritten, and that you are the only one who has control over your destiny, so make it a good one.
What are your dreams for the future? Do you dream about where you're going to live, where you're going to travel, what car you're going to drive? Some people think dreams are silly, but I've always admired them. As Dumbledore from Harry Potter said, in dreams we enter a world that is entirely our own. Dreams are important because they allow us to make what we want of our world. Every one of us has a dream. Big or small, a dream is a dream. Every one of us has the power to make our dream come true as long as we stick to it. If you stick with it, you can make your world entirely your own. So just keep dreaming.
The past 4 years have been filled with so much commotion that it can be hard to remember everything we've learned. We would do well to take a step back and remember the struggles and pains we've had to get here. Time and time again, I can remember, as can all of you, a big assignment would be due with no time to fit it into an already hectic schedule. And yet, some free time would be found to get it done. As Captain Jack Sparrow truthfully explains, I love those moments. I like to wave at them as they pass by. After losing those precious 30 minutes on, say, Snapchat or YouTube, we tell ourselves, I regret nothing ever, as our subconscious screams at us. We should look back on these memories with amusement and joy in our hearts. After giving so much to graduate, we should be proud of our efforts and continue to strive for what we have desperately worked for. Our future is upon us. It will not be easy, but that is why we work for it. The seas may be rough, but you are the captain. No matter how difficult, you will prevail.
So here we go, off to the real world, with real world problems. Adulting in this chaotic world is not easy. No matter the path you choose, everyone will face some pretty frightening twists and turns that will leave you feeling broken down. However, class of 2019, there is no kind of education like adversity. The flower that blooms in adversity is the most rare and beautiful of all. This quote comes from my favorite Disney movie, Mulan, which is based off a non-fictional story of a female warrior who disguised herself as a man to serve in place of her sick father. Mulan struggles for some time to meet physical expectations, but ultimately triumphs over all these challenges while also using her smarts to become a war legend. It's easy to look at challenges negatively. However, we must push ourselves to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Never stop challenging yourself to fight for your goals, no matter what obstacles may lie ahead. As we go our separate ways, just remember, we don't grow and find ourselves when things are easy. It's the hard times that will bring us clarity and fulfillment in life. Thank you.
Star Wars. Whether you hate it or love it, you can learn a lot from it. In Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Anakin Skywalker leads a mission to rescue the kidnapped Chancellor Palpatine from the cyborg commander separatist, General Grievous. Right as the doors to Grievous's ship are closing, Anakin utters the line, "This is where the fun begins," and slides under the door in an Indiana Jones-style moment. Up until now, we've been living the free trial of our lives, and now it's finally time to buy the full game. Now, it's finally time to take the steps across the stage and begin the rest of our lives. This is what the past 13 years of our life have been leading to. This is what all those tireless nights we stayed up writing those essays and finishing tedious homework have been for. This is where the fun really begins.
Sometimes we feel extremely criticized by those around us. We can't control what others do to us, but we can control how we respond to it. Like the quote from my favorite movie, Fast and Furious. The only thing that matters is who's behind the wheel. We spend the first 16 years of our lives having others drive us around. Eventually, we learn how to do it ourselves. This is comparable to making decisions. When we're younger, others drive our lives. As we grow older, we get to take the wheel. At this point, we finally have the opportunity to make choices that shape us into the people we want to be. Teachers, friends, and family may have differing opinions of how you should continue your future, but at the end of the day, you need to make the decision that you believe in. My wish to you is to go out into the world and do exactly what you want to do. Don't worry about judgment from those around you. Grab the wheel and floor it down the path of your success. Thank you.
I swear to you, I will never change. I'm proud to be different. It's the best thing about me. Kurt Hummer. High school is one of the most emotionally riveting parts of a person's life, and the TV show Glee portrays some of the struggles students face as a result of our differences. I want you to look at the people sitting around you. Go ahead. Each of you has your own story, where you come from, who your friends are, who you've loved and lost. Yes, these parts are important and define your sense of self, but they also expose you to the insensitivity of others. Now I want you to think to yourself, am I showing the world my true self? Or am I afraid to let them see the real me? Like Kurt, I'm different, you're different, we're all different. But just because someone doesn't like something about you doesn't mean that you should change. There's this word, courage, that I want to share with you. It's gotten me through high school, and it's really important to me. Courage is being yourself in a world that tells you to be someone else. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Courage is what gives us strength when all seems hopeless. I want each of you to embrace your differences. Have courage to be true to yourself and not be defined by what other people think of you. So when you leave here today, remember that each and every single one of you are beautiful, just the way you are. Never forget that, class of 2019. Have courage.
High school can be very stressful at times. Whether you're nervous for a test, a sporting event, or a play, everyone experiences it. While it is often unavoidable, there are times which it is unnecessary. Sometimes you have to take a deep breath and remember what's truly important. Personally, I endured the most stress over wrestling. My dad always told me that it was just a wrestling match and reminded me that it was just another activity that I did for fun. Replace wrestling with whatever you enjoy, and keep in mind that you perform your best when you are having fun. Buddy the Elf knows this better than anyone. Be more like Buddy, who does not fear anything because of his constant happy attitude. No matter what he does, he sees the bright side and finds entertainment in it, even working in the mailroom. Stress never appears on his radar because he only considers the best possible outcome. I try to live with a little bit of Buddy the Elf in me because I just like to smile. Smiling's my favorite. Maybe it should be your favorite too.
The group Queen is an iconic example of courage. And on their journey, Queen was told time and time again that they would fail. The movie Bohemian Rhapsody documents their road to fame, and in this movie, even their executive producer, Ray Foster, claims, "No one will play Queen." Now, years after their debut, I guarantee everyone in this room has heard the famous hits Queen produced. Despite their challenges along the way, Queen persevered through hard work and dedication. And I challenge you, the Lincoln High School, class of 2019, to do the same. Despite the challenges that you may face, never let anyone tell you that you can't do something in life. Instead, use that as an inspiration for your next success. Thank you.
So now what? What are you going to do with your life? What do you want to be when you grow up? These are questions we've all probably been hearing a lot of lately. And now, since we are graduating, many people expect us to know how to answer them. But what if we don't? If you're anything like me, your thoughts are all over the place. One day, you think you have it all figured out, and the next, you are second-guessing yourself, or you have completely changed your mind again. For those of you familiar with the popular show The Office, I think you might agree that Michael Scott summed it up perfectly when he said, "And I knew exactly what to do.
but in a much more real sense, I had no idea what to do. But that's okay, because I don't think we really need to have it all figured out just yet. Whether or not you know what your passion might be, the truth is, it doesn't matter right now. You don't have to know. We will change our minds and we will make mistakes. We just have to keep moving forward. So good luck, class of 2019, because when we walk out of those doors, it will be our time to figure out exactly what to do.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Seniors, graduation came up on us fast, didn't it? I remember when I was just a little young and innocent sophomore here at Lincoln High School, not knowing what I wanted to do in life, wondering what was for lunch, and of course, trying to find my date for this year's prom. Some things never change. All the great memories will never be forgotten for me, my classmates, and hopefully the staff here at Lincoln High School. High school is the place where you meet some of your forever friends and mature into the person that you will be for the rest of your life. At least for some of us, LOL. Lincoln High School, on the banks of the mighty Wisconsin River, will forever be in my heart, along with you, Mr. Hankey. Feel better. I wish to thank everyone who has made a difference in my life throughout my school year, career. Friends, family, staff, and most importantly, the lunch ladies who were always there for me at 11:17 every weekday. Thank you. These experiences will forever be in my heart. As I wrap up, I would like to use a quote from Jim Carrey in his infamous movie, The Truman Show. Good morning, and in case I don't see you later, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Natalie Jones was born and raised in Schaumburg, Illinois, just 30 miles from downtown Chicago, daughter of a native Ecuadorian immigrant and a Chicago-born Pole. Mrs. Jones has spent the majority of her time living in the United States, but has traveled extensively to visit her mother's family in Ecuador. During her senior year of high school, Mrs. Jones decided to break the typically Illinois mold and decided to head to UW La Crosse to become an athletic trainer. Plans changed, but she finished her undergraduate degree with the ability to teach K-12 physical education and health. After a brief teaching career at the Washington School of Information and Technology in Milwaukee, Mrs. Jones went back to UWL for graduate school to receive her Master's of Science in Adventure and Outdoor Education. While many of you know her as our girls swim and dive coach or as a PE teacher, she is also our aquatics director. And wait for it, the president of the Wisconsin chapter of the Society of Teachers Who Look Like Students. While many of our athletes are familiar with her oral storytelling series, Storytime with Jones, today, Mrs. Jones is debuting a new series titled Wisdom of 10 Years. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Mrs. Natalie Jones.
We made it. After 4 years, we are all finally graduating. Wait, never mind. Teachers don't graduate, but you all do. So, as most of you know, the last 4 years have been a period of growth, not just for you, but for me as well. You're all my first group of students that I've been able to watch as young little freshmen mature and grow into young adults. As I've gotten to know you all, I've had the privilege of having some wonderful older sibling-style life chats, whether it be here in the gym, out on the fields, the pool deck, bus rides, locker room, or even on the bathroom floor. But because I haven't had the privilege of having these conversations with all of you, I decided I would bestow upon you some of the 10 years of wisdom I've accumulated since I was in your shoes. I'd like to start by congratulating all of you for making it this far. I am sure some of you are tired of hearing how much of an accomplishment graduating high school is, but this is definitely a milestone in your life you should be celebrating. While you've all experienced those wonderful hormonal changes that come with your teenage years, many of you faced other adversities that stood in your way of being here today. And you should celebrate your resilience and growth that comes from facing such challenges. This is also that last life milestone that is correlated with age, and this is also some of the last moments where age and maturity try and be synonymous. For those of you heading off to college, there are so many groups, activities, and social experiences available that I have faith that you will find a group of people that you'll be able to call friends and maybe even family. What I loved about the college experience, more than high school, was that people stopped caring about who you were or what you did. If you weren't a jerk, people pretty much left you alone, regardless if you had blue hair and ran around the dorm singing Broadway hits with your roommates. What I didn't realize then was how impactful my first moments in a new environment would be. I didn't know that it would only take 7 seconds to make a lasting impression, and that when people met me, they were judging my character within 1/10 of a second from either meeting me or witnessing the experience that was me. So as you express yourself in your full capabilities, remember that how you dress is the first indication you give people about who you are, how you value yourself, and how you want the world to view you. This is especially important when you begin the interview process. At job interviews, sometimes we have that tendency to sit there awkwardly when the interviewer asks, "Do you have any questions?" Instead of internally thinking, "Oh man, I was supposed to ask something," ask, "What does success in this position look like to you?" The interviewers will hopefully be able to provide you with those unmentionable expectations that are not listed in the job description, but they still expect those things of you anyway. I have heard many a time that communication is key, but I've realized I can communicate in as many forms as I want, but if you don't understand me, we will be at an impasse. And this happens everywhere. Look at our political system today. When you hear the right wing talk about the left and the left talk about the right, and you see the different types of policies being passed around the nation, it can come off as very divisive. It feels like everyone wants you to pick a side. So when you are communicating with strangers, friends, and even loved ones, Listen to seek understanding of their viewpoint and perspective rather than listening to respond. Jumping back to Mr. Rasmussen's introduction of me, I wanted you to have a basic understanding of my experiences that has shaped the lens in which I view the world. It has shaped my personality, my biases, how I form relationships, and how I communicate, just as your experiences have done to you. You don't have to scream your opinions from a rooftop to be heard, so when you have those seemingly difficult conversations, I have a few tips. One, you're probably not an expert. And if you are, there will still be people who doubt your credibility, even in your chosen field. So listen intently and ask questions to help you understand their perspective. Like, why do you think that? And how come? 2, are you working towards solving a common problem? If so, do they have a different but viable solution? How do we compromise? As a society, it seems we have lost the ability to listen for understanding and compromising. This is also practical when it comes to relationships. While communication is important, if you don't understand your partner or they don't understand you, then progress can be difficult. Please remember that relationships, and maybe even love, isn't 50-50 in practice. Neither of you learn how to understand each other during your harder times. It may be difficult to grow together, and you may even resent each other because of those burdens you put on each other. To build on those hard times, I agree with the popular meme that says, "This too shall pass." It might pass like a kidney stone, but it'll pass. Savor those hard times just as much as you savor the good ones. Whether it's a breakup, a diagnosis, a death of a loved one, a personal tragedy, or even a failure, there are lessons hidden for us when we work through those tough times. Often, instead of working through the grief, the pain, the shame, the failures, some try to mask, hide, or run from the issue by posting on social media, binging on Netflix, books, food, or alcohol and other drugs. When we mask and hide from the pain, shame, and grief, we are missing those lessons that come through the healing process in time. For those of you that will be striking out on your own for the first time, I have a few tips that will hopefully make that transition smoother. Take the time this summer to learn how to use a coin-operated laundry machine. They are indeed different than most of the ones you have at home. And when you wash your clothes, if you're broke, you can wash everything together, just make sure it's in cold water. Do not mix those reds and those new jeans with your whites on warm or hot water. You will get new pink, purple, or baby blue clothing. Also, take the time this summer and learn how to cook 2 or 3 good recipes that isn't Easy Mac or ramen. That way, the first time you make a meal for your special someone or yourself, you don't light an electrical stove on fire while boiling water, or give yourself food poisoning twice. Find your values. And if you struggle to identify what those are, figure out what you don't value, and you can start by looking at what bugs you the most about other people and ask yourself, why does this bother me? Why can be a very powerful question if you are honest with yourself and willing to dig deeper for an understanding of yourself. Take the time to learn and try something new at least once a year. This can even be trying a new restaurant in town or going on vacation somewhere that isn't like a normal destination. I would never have played rugby, moved to Milwaukee, fallen in love with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, photography, or rebonded with some high school friends over Dungeons & Dragons. I also wouldn't have found out that I really suck at Magic the Gathering, guitar, singing, and jazz flute, and that's okay. If you have ever seen the movie Coco, you know that humans don't want to be forgotten. We want to have an impact, be remembered. The easiest way I can think of doing that is not through having over 70,000 followers on Instagram or having 1 million views on a YouTube video. It's been through making connections with you, not through a device, but face-to-face conversations. So while you begin the journey of finding yourself, learn to like yourself and who you are. And if you don't like who you are, change it. Assuming you all have at least another 60 to 70 years ahead of you, these last 3 to 4 years shouldn't be the best in your life. Make each year better than the last. As you move forward, there will be a lot of things that you are now that you will no longer be. There are a lot of things you never thought you could be that you'll unexpectedly become. So enjoy your life rather than getting caught up on comparing yourself to what others are posting on Snap Stories, Instagram, or Twitter. Quite honestly, we all can't wait to see who you all become. Whether you move away or come back to Rapids, we are all proud of you. So go out, make mistakes, listen to understand each other, grow from the pain, make connections, and become the person you were meant to be. Congratulations to all of you, the class of 2019.
And now for what we've all been waiting for this afternoon. Yes, I agree. I ask that you remain seated, and please withhold your applause until all the graduates have received their diplomas. If you'd like to come closer for a picture, you may come down to my right, but please stay behind the black roping. Thank you in advance for following this request so that every family can see and hear their graduate's name be called. Esteemed school board members and WRPS administration, it is my privilege to declare that these students sitting before you today have met or exceeded all the requirements for graduation set forth by the state of Wisconsin and the School District of Wisconsin Rapids. And I request that the Wisconsin Rapids Lincoln High School diploma be conferred upon them. I'd like to call to the front John Krings, WRPS School Board President, Craig Broren, WRPS Superintendent, and Casey Drake, LHS Associate Principal, to assist. And the class of 2019, Casey Lynn Eberderis, Desiree Marie Alou, Jada Ann Anderson, Brandon Lee Arndt, Jason Joseph Arnold, Zachary Charles Arnold, Ian Kennedy Arts, Samuel Robert Atwood, Miles James LeClaire, Paxton Baird, Tyler David Baldoff, Benjamin Scott Belko, Dante John Baltazar, Colton C. Bannock, Ryan John Baxter, Macy Ray Bean, Olivia Marie Bean, Zachariah James Becker, Jackson Willard Benda, Cale Patrick Bennett, Daniel Lee Bennett Jr., Delaney Case Benz, Paige Nicole Berry, Jaden Michael Bishop, Aaron Michael Brainerd, Donovan Judd Brandel, Allison Cora Braun, Bengham Liam Brazo, Cody Scott Bradle, Colin John Bry, Hunter Charles Brigando, Grace Marie Brill, Raina Marie Brenninger, Nathan Ronald Brock, Cade Allen Boobles, Devin Sine Buckley, Joshua Scott Carlin, Chase Gregory Carroll, Christina Leota Ray Chandonnet, Trent Colin Charpentier, Nash Wayne Coombs, Adriana J. Corral, Tyler Keith Crabb, Catherine Elise Zarni, Laura Lily Dang, Alexandra Renee Davis, Alyssa Jade Dayton, Abigail May DeRoche, Cheyenne Elizabeth DeWitt. Madeline Paige Dickey. Riley James Diebel. Nathaniel Jacob Donovan. Skylar Megan Dreschler. Brandon Richard Drollinger. Jasmine Elise Drosty. Madeline Ray Eichhorn. Brock Robert Erdman. Isaac Robert Evenson. Dustin Richard Ewell. Kierlyn Kelly Feltz. Shauna Michelle Finsky. Christopher Aaron Firk. Logan Thomas Firk. Colton Cade Flamini. Cameron James Flinders. Zaya Mary Patricia Foltz. Sam James Forstner. Kylie Marie Franklin. Parker Lance Leslie Frederick. Alex Michael Fuller. Roger Clyde Fuller. Keegan Kenneth Garrigan. Megan Leanne Galetta. Gavin Ryder Geezy. Braden Thomas Gearing. Alistair Braxton Greening. Ariana Christine Hilliker. Jorian Rose Greenwood. Selena Elizabeth Griffith. Forrest Michael Gross. Selena Marie Guevara Parsno. Natasha Marie Golden. Jordan Robert Haas. Dalton Irvin Hahn. Severina Ray Hall. Mitchell Aaron Hammer. Abigail Ashley Hammett. Ireland Rose Marie Hanley. Kristen Ann Hansen. Lindsay Ann Hansen. Savannah Lee Hansford. Jessica Ann Marie Hasselkuss. Brianna D. Havitz. Ellie Caroline Hyman. Eric Scott Heineck. Gabriella Marie Hankey. Kaylee Paige Henry. Austin Lewis Hensley. Allison Virginia Hepp. Christopher Ricardo Hernandez. Samuel Todd Herzberg. Ethan Richard Hess. Carly Ann Hewitt. Yerdis Lee Hilgard. Brittany Ann Hodge. Benjamin Otto Houston. Samuel Thomas Howard. Tabitha Lynn Hoyt. Kayla Ruth Hoagland. Michael Lee Humphrey. Brittany Esther Hunter. Devin Michael Idson. Michael James Iverson. Lydia Marie Iwanski. Stephanie Lynn Johns. Alex Thomas Jakubiak. Phaedra Faylene Jensky. Autumn Ann Johns. Benjamin Jacob Johnson. Carl Armando Johnson. Jasmine Jean Johnson. Victoria Vera Johnson. Jordan Michael Jostin. Dawson Lane Collada. Noah Jacob Kaminsky. Mason James Karbowski. Madison Grace Kerberg. Brianna Amber Kelly. Kayla J. Kessler. Chaston Nicholas Kester. Asia Dominique Khan. Kylie Julian Kang. Mai Her Kang. Mitchell Tu Lu Kang. Cassandra Lynn Kodrowski. Colin Wayne Kipper. Kyle James Kirk. Matthew Jameson Kazuski. Isaac Connor Stephen Kubza. Cassidy Lynn Coles. Haley Ann Korsland. Jonathan Michael Kowalik. Alexa Marie Kranig. Brianna Jaden Kraus. Annalie Charlene Kraus. Mackenzie Alexis Kranig. Alexander Michael Kacharski. Dylan Michael Cool. Stephen Frederick Ladwig. Tristan James Lake Martinez. Nuchi Lee. Jason Jeffrey Leo. Andrew Charles Lucas. Evan David Macheski. Landon Avery Mulsum. Ian Andrew Mankey. Kyle Christian Mattice. Connor Bond McKellips. Ethan Samuel McKellips. Chance Williams McTire. Kieran J. Meltison. Camilla Jean Mishak. Trevin Julio Milbauer. Aaron Lynn Miller. Jacob Edward Milner. Nicholas Lee Miner. Taylor Ann Monahan. Emily Lynn Moon. Juliana Marino. Jolisa Marino. Corey John Mork. Daniel Rachel Mormon. Caitlin Nicole Moyer. Alyssa Ann Monroe. Renee Victoria Mush. Charles Eugene Nosted. Ian Ross Nelson. Sierra Lynn Nelson. Tyler Robert Nemec. Sierra Lynn Neiman. Miranda Joy Neiman. Charles Andrew Nordman. Hannah Elizabeth Nyman. Elizabeth May O'Connor. Jada Arlene O'Day. Caleb John O'Neill. Kaylee Jane Olson. Lindsay Marie Olson. Michael Christopher Olson. Kaylee Elizabeth Ott. Savannah Avery Owen. Lydia Ann Marie Page. Madeline Marlis Padel. Jordan Lindsay Palmieri. Carly Joe Parvin. Christian Paulton Hale. Levi Stephen Payne. Shauna Marie Pajurik. Olivia Paige Poplinski. Sydney Diane Peterson. Dionysus Ambrose Peets. Javon Christopher Pinex. Austin Michael Plant. Alexis Joel Polson. Madison Ray Powell. Mariah Jane Presley. Joseph Kurt Polchinski. Keegan Jeffrey Polchinski. Alexis Janice Quintero. Ethan Matthew Rates. Kendall Ann Radke. Tanner Reed Reaney. Destiny Heaven Regalia. Noah Thomas Richmond. Shayna Lynn Rocha. Adriana Marie Rose. Dawson Donald Rosenthal. Emma Celeste Roosh. Angelique Marie Sachs. Dalen Celia Sayers. Harley Dale Sanders. Colton Jeffrey Sanger. Oliver Robert Sawyer. Dakota David Schatz. Nathan Daniel Schuneman. Noah Jacob Schladweiler. Jana Devon Schneider. Caitlin Marie Schaff. Sadra Stoffel. Jacob Daniel Schooley. Abigail Virginia Schrader. Meadow Ann Schroer. Elizabeth K. Sherman. Dakota Michael Schultz. Ryan Christopher Schumacher. Waylon John Shear. Joseph Scott Sigourney. Dalton Elliott Smith. Devin Lee Smith. Rebecca Lynn Sneen. Caleb Ronald Sorensen. Spencer Scott Sparks. Jillian Jean Staven. Dawson John Steckbauer. Rebecca Marie Steinkamp. Madison Rose Stringfeld. Chloe Nicole Strecker. Sarah Elizabeth Disa Stromley. Claire Elizabeth Sturdy. Garrett Bryce Sullivan. Caleb Jacob Tamman. Magdalena Susan Tapia. Corinne Christina Tetzloff. Chi Tao. Vu Tao. Summer Alexis Thompson. Haley Elizabeth Thompson. Nathaniel Trickle. I know what his next job is going to be. Mahadeva Adam Joseph Urban. Despina Benicia Von Bina Beka. Samuel Isaiah Varsho. Trevor Robert Vichinsky. Kyle Vo. Rebecca Christine Vold. Jaden Lindsay Wagner. Wesley Mark Wagner. Samuel Patrick Wallner. Justin Matthew Weefel. Bianca Weiland. Magdalene May Weiland. Jack Lewis Wenzel. Ashley Marie Wharton. Aaron Mackenzie Whipple. Austin Hunter Whiteley. Joseph Paul Gordon Whitemarsh. Garrett Thomas Wiernick. Michaela Ann Wilhelm. Haley Zakia Wilhorn. Savannah C. Williamson. Alexandra Ray Wilson. Jared Cole Winters. Paige Allison Wogan. Elizabeth Ray Wolf. Emma Rose Watke. Gawia Zhang. Su Yang. Yer Yang. Skylar L. York. Jordan Isaiah Young. Alex Christopher Zarecki. Jacob M. Zeman. Ashton Joseph Zernhelm. And lastly, Joshua Harvey Zawicki. I would ask the graduates to please rise. I'd like to welcome to stage Ellie Hyman for the movement of the tassel. Now, everyone please stand for our alma mater, which is on the wall behind me or on the back of your program. Please join in singing with the LHS Band, our alma mater. Congratulations to the class of 2008!